we have the last batch of 2025 assay results for the Briggs Copper projects in our hot little hands. And here to tell us more about them is Frazer Tabeart, the Managing Director. Frazer, it's a pleasure to see you again. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Joe. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and Happy New Year to Alma Metals shareholders. Take me through this final batch of assay results.
Yeah, so it's the assay results for the particularly the very deep drill hole that we put in last year. So we've got some fabulous results here. You know, the hole went to a depth of just over 800 metres, and we cut 620 metres at 0.25% copper with good molybdenum and silver credits as well. And yeah, within that, you know, that's the longest intersection we've ever had to date on the project. So very encouraging. And within that, there was some higher grade zones. So we've got 190 metres at 0.28%, you know, from about 50 metres depth. And then another higher grade zone at about 98 metres at 0.34% copper deeper in the hole. So some really encouraging numbers there. Yeah, we were so encouraged in the field by what we saw visually that we drilled another hole 80 metres to the north to see if we could chase some of that grade further to the north. And so very pleasingly, you know, the final hole came in with some good numbers as well. So that's, you know, 393 metres at 0.26% copper. And importantly, there was a 30 metre zone there that ran 0.9% copper. So, yeah, and that was quite close to surface, only sort of 35 metres down hole. So, you know, some really good numbers here, all consistently higher than the average of the entire deposit. So, yeah, over the fullness of time, these results will help increase the grade of the mineral resource estimate.
So these results sound great. Why are they so significant for the Briggs Copper project?
Yeah, I sort of touched on it just then. You know, they are sort of higher grades than the average that we see. There are also, you know, some high grade zones here which are relatively close to surface, and they're in the sort of the core of the deposit itself. So, you know, these are sorts of grades that are going to go into the early years of a mining project, you know, when that eventually gets up and running here at Briggs. So, you know, they're important in that they give us, you know, higher revenue in those early years. And they're also helping validate our current, you know, geological and resource block models. So that means we can use those with a very high degree of confidence going forward to plan the next round of drilling.
How do these higher grades fit into the bigger picture, and why are you so excited about this project?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, generally, you know, the project's reasonably low grade, so these higher grades help with that. But notwithstanding that, I mean, what Briggs represents is one of the largest undeveloped copper projects in Australia, and certainly the largest undeveloped copper project in Queensland. You know, and that's against the backdrop of, you know, copper supply constraints that are now really strongly manifest in, you know, a surging copper price. So everybody can see that, you know, the market's struggling to keep up with demand, and that's only going to get worse. So having large, you know, even low grade deposits, but in very good jurisdictions, and, you know, let's not forget we're only 60 kilometres to the west of the Deepwater Port of Gladstone. There's a whole infrastructure corridor that passes just south of this deposit. You know, Briggs is extremely well positioned to be able to, you know, take part in you know, filling that gap in copper supply. You know, and there's very few impediments to that, certainly from an infrastructure point of view. And the fact that the deposit sits right at surface on freehold land just makes everything that much easier as well. So getting good assay results, you know, in that context just helps consolidate just how exciting this project is.
Now, Alma Metals has clearly started the year strong. We've got a flying copper price. I know you're attending the RIU Explorers Conference in Fremantle, which starts on the 17th of February. What else can shareholders expect over the next 3 to 6 months?
Well, we're planning on getting back into drilling pretty much straight away. So we're just going through the final throes now of planning out, you know, what does the next 12 to 18 months of drilling look like to convert all of our resource into the indicated category. And that's an important part of our pre-feasibility study, which the board committed to late last year on the back of our, you know, excellent scoping study results. So we'll start seeing drilling results come through, you know, in 3 to 4 months' time. And we're also going to be kicking off some fairly major metallurgical test work programs, looking at, you know, optimizing copper and molybdenum recoveries, looking at coarse particle flotation, and looking at you know, the addition of the molybdenum recovery circuit on the back end. So they're all important parts of that pre-feasibility study, and we'll be, putting out plenty of news flow around those, not just over the next 3 to 6 months, but over the rest of the year, to be perfectly honest.
It sounds like it's going to be another big year for the Briggs Copper Project. Listen, Frazer, thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you in person in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. See you there.